"Your tribe? Come on, Freckles, you aren't really part of a tribe," one laughed.
Story time at Lockwood Elementary brings characters off the page into real life,
said Freckles with a cheeky grin.
Today's tale, Journey of the Freckled Indian, is about Freckles. It's based on author Alyssa London's discovery of her native heritage when she was sitting right here as a student 25 years ago.
In my Tlingit language, Tlingit-Haida Tribe, Chaak Nahatsiti Daklawedi Ayachat Angun Kwan Ayachat. So in Tlingit, I just said that I'm from the Tlingit tribe, that I'm eagle killer whale, and that my family is from the village of Angun, Alaska. Angun Kwan is how I said that.
Like most children who grow up in a multicultural home, London's life in Seattle as a kid included native events like tribal picnics and powwows.
I didn't realize it was something different until really the memory that precedes the start of this book, which was sharing about Tlingit culture with my parents during a show and tell, where they showed a video of Raven Box of Daylight, which is our creation story for Tlingit and Haida people. And at recess, then, like we say in the book, the kids made fun of me.
Through the book, Freckles becomes a relatable character for mixed-race children, reflecting the challenges London faced on the playground.
Do you know your heritage? Do you know all the cultures that your family members come from? Her classmates looked at each other confused. Well, if you don't know where you come from, it's hard to know where you're going.
This theme in the book is London's theme in life. She learned about where she came from through family, spending time with her Tlingit grandfather in Alaska to understand her roots.
There's a grandness to Alaska that is hard to describe.
That summer trip charted the course for her life's work to advocate the importance of honoring multicultural identities. She's traveled to more than 30 countries and earned a degree in race and ethnicity from Stanford University.
Just in your own language, tell that story, and then it'll be a permanent record.
In 2018, she founded her media company, Culture Story. London says there's more that connects us than divides us in the mixed-race world we live in. Through Culture Story, she creates videos, workshops, and books to showcase the beauty and vitality of Indigenous cultures all over the world.
It is one of my favorite things to talk to really anyone about. I love to ask, what's your culture story? And what I mean by that is, tell me about the core tenets or the themes that really define your culture, and therefore define, parts of how you live your life as a person who identifies with that heritage.
London says the core tenets are food, faith, family, fashion, and the arts, which includes song and dance, one of her favorite ways to teach kids about culture. Once the wiggles are out, it's a quick lesson in linguistics.
So it kind of sounds like cottage cheese, but you're going to repeat after me. Goodness sheesh. Goodness sheesh. Oh, thank you. You did awesome.
It's these cultural interactions she hopes will help childhood be more inclusive.
From a young age, be interested in knowing about their own culture and having a strong sense of personal identity, but then almost even more important, being open to people from other cultures.
You're German. Perfect. See, we're already getting the thought patterns going of what we can talk about in our classrooms later on, right?
After excited commentary from kids about their native identities, London leads them through affirmations as a confidence booster.
I am proud.
And hopes these phrases instill personal pride of being multicultural, something she says can be really tough growing up.
I mean, I struggled with being a mixed race Native girl basically until I went to Miss USA and had this moment in front of millions of people with the Tlingit gown, where it was like a very strong, definitive moment of, I am Tlingit, I got to say that on national television. There are 229 different tribes. Tlingit, I am from the Tlingit tribe. That was profound for me because it took that big of a moment, honestly, to basically heal from having to explain to so many people, even through college, like, yes, I'm Native American, that's why I'm helping out with Stanford Powwow, for example, or I didn't like having to explain my connection to my culture over and over again.
In 2017, London was a top 10 finalist at Miss USA.
Alaska.
Her evening gown robe had her clan crest, the killer whale, and was designed in the Tlingit red tribal color.
It was the only time in the pageant that I wasn't incredibly nervous because I was just really proud and centered, and I just felt like I had my whole community on stage with me.
Newspapers in Alaska proudly put her on the front page celebrating this achievement for Indigenous people.
That made people emotional too because, the newspapers in Southeast Alaska are written in English. That hadn't been a Tlingit headline.
London's national pageant platform was to showcase the vitality of Indigenous cultures and mixed-race heritage.
When I was Miss Alaska, I got to go to some hospitals, and I got to go do school visits. And at that time, kids would listen to whatever I had to say because I had a crown on my head. It was fun times. But I didn't have my own book. I was reading other books that I either found in the classroom or I started to bring some along with me. But I didn't find a story that helped land my message.
Now with her own book to spread her message, whether she's wearing a crown or native regalia, just like Freckles says,
Tlingit Aya Hut. That means I am Tlingit, and no one can take that away from me.
She hopes through her story, Freckles inspires these kids to proudly display their culture story on the pages of life they write, no matter where the journey takes them after school.
Watch CityStream Tuesday nights at 7 on the Seattle channel, or find us anytime online at seattle.gov.